Once again, I'm traveling along Route 5 on my way to Williamsburg, Virginia, another one of the Commonwealth of Virginia historical cities. Just I'm a little bit west of Jamestown rather, which was Jamestown, as you may know in your history, um, was one of the first settlements that where African slaves were brought to be auctioned off in Jamestown, which is a little bit east of here. Just back to my west here on Route 5, which a lot of us refer to as Plantation Route 5, because numerous plantations are up and down here. So I stop here quite a bit and read some of the history on many of these markers. And impressively, I had never stopped at this particular spot that I can recall. However, I wanted to share just a little brief historical moment here along Plantation Road. I'm actually standing near to my backside or side here is Berkeley Plantation. One of the most provocative plantations is just a little bit west behind me, which is the Shirley Plantation. All along Route 5 it's plantations where tourists come by, I'm sure about hundreds of thousands every year to tour these plantations. But what caught my attention while taking a break park here at this designated landmark spot was that I noticed one particular historical marker here that has to do with a former African American slave whom during his slavery he was eventually paid. He became a locksmith and he was a paid slave transported to the ironworks in Richmond, Virginia, which is about just 25, 30 miles, 30 miles due southeast of where I'm standing. I want to read this about this very interesting individual whom we've never, at least I've never seen in the history books during Black History Month. Those who come to do Black history studies really need to come to Virginia, because Virginia has a wealth of information, archives, etc. in these plantations based on slavery. This, especially Virginia, being the first United States staging point for auctioning off slaves, which is, like I say, Jamestown, Richmond. I'm right in the middle of all of it. But I want to just briefly read this landmark about this very interesting character, individual whom was born a slave. His name is Emmanuel Quivers, and he was born 1814 and died 1879. Emmanuel Quivers was born into slavery on Berkeley Plantation to Jonathan and Sarah Quivers, trained as a blacksmith. In 1845, Quivers became an enslaved wage earner. This is so interesting, and I guess, you know, we've missed a lot of what we really don't know, and a lot of what we're just now getting to know. So he was a wage earner at Tridecar Ironworks in Richmond. So I was baffled to learn this morning or today that there were actually slaves who had picked up trades from the from on the plantation from the slave masters. They were perfected as what you call blacksmiths. But this was very interesting because this gentleman became an iron. End up learning how to quiver iron and puddle it, whatever. And while in Richmond as a wage-earning slave, there he learned the closely guarded puddling technique for manufacturing high-grade iron. Rising to supervisor, to supervise a large group of artisans and laborers, he and his wife Frances were early members of the First African Baptist Church in Richmond. In 1852, he and Frances purchased their family's freedom and left for California. There, he became a community leader out on the West Coast. Can you imagine the awesome experience of leaving slavery in Virginia, working his way to the West Coast, all the way to California, maybe across the Western Plains, etc., like a lot of freed and runaway escaped slaves were able to do. So here we have Emmanuel Quivers and his wife Frances. They left for California, became a community leader in California. Quivers advocated for educating African American children and for law allowing persons of color to testify against whites. Now all of this is between the time he left, paid for his freedom and left Virginia. This area right here, Berkeley Plantation, and amazing story. I'd like to do some more research on Emmanuel Quivers. So I hope you all have enjoyed this little short historical moment that I'm sharing. And may God bless us, and may God bless America, and pray that, I pray all the time that racism, unnecessary hatred, variance against one another, whether even race to race, we tend to not really work together to make America, what they say politically, make America great again. Well, it's already great if we all just start to learn to love one another and to treat one another, as the scriptures say, love thy neighbor as thyself. And with that, adios amigos.